At the height of his fame, Robert Redford seemed untouchable. A golden boy of Hollywood with a smile that lit up the screen. But behind that sparkle, he carried a heartbreak so deep, it followed him to his final breath. Born Charles Robert Redford Jr. on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California, he grew up in a modest household. His father worked as a milkman, and his mother nurtured his restless imagination. But tragedy struck early. His mother died when he was just a teenager, leaving him with a wound he rarely spoke about. As a young man, Redford drifted. He attended the University of Colorado, but his wild streak led to drinking, restlessness, and eventually expulsion. Yet it was that same hunger for something more that carried him to Europe, where he discovered art, and ultimately to New York, where he studied acting. Hollywood quickly took notice. With his piercing blue eyes and undeniable charisma, Redford became the face of a new generation of American cinema. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Sting, All the President's Men. He wasn't just a star. He was a legend in the making. And yet, even as the world celebrated him, Redford's private life told a different story. In 1958, at just 21 years old, he married historian Lola Van Wagenen. Together, they built what seemed like the perfect family life away from the Hollywood spotlight. Their first child, a baby boy named Scott, was born in 1959. But joy quickly turned to devastation. Within 2 months, Scott died, suddenly, from sudden infant death syndrome. Redford later admitted, "It was traumatic. We had to deal with it." That kind of loss stays with you. Despite heartbreak, the couple pressed on, welcoming 3 more children, Shauna, James, and Amy. But fate was cruel. Shauna's partner, journalist Sid Wells, was murdered in 1983 in Boulder, Colorado. The crime was never solved, and the family lived with a wound that never fully closed. Decades later, tragedy struck again. His son, James Redford, a filmmaker and environmental activist, battled liver disease from his 20s. After 2 transplants, James rebuilt his life and even founded his own nonprofit. But in 2020, he was diagnosed with bile duct cancer. That October, at just 58 years old, James died. Friends said Robert Redford never truly recovered. The bond between father and son had been unbreakable. The pain of losing James was indescribable, one family friend said. He took that heartbreak with him. By the late 1970s, Redford's marriage to Lola had begun to fray under the weight of loss, distance, and the pressures of fame. They quietly divorced in 1985, after nearly 3 decades together. But life gave him a second chance at love. In the 1990s, Redford met German multimedia artist Sibylle Zagars, a woman nearly 20 years his junior who shared his passion for nature and art. Unlike the glamour of Hollywood, their relationship was rooted in simplicity, painting, the environment, and a quiet life away from the cameras. After years together, the couple married in 2009 in a small, intimate ceremony in Hamburg, Germany. With Sibylle, Redford finally found a measure of peace. They lived together at his beloved ranch in Sundance, Utah, where the mountains, horses, and open skies gave him comfort in his later years. Despite unimaginable grief, Redford refused to surrender to bitterness. He poured himself into his art, directing films that wrestled with themes of pain, resilience, and redemption. And he built the Sundance Institute, which became a sanctuary for young filmmakers, shaping the future of cinema itself. On September 16, 2025, Robert Redford passed away in his sleep at the age of 89. The world remembered him as an actor, a director, and a cultural icon. But those closest to him remembered the man behind the legend. A husband who loved deeply, a father who endured unbearable loss, and a soul marked by both triumph and tragedy. And though he carried heartbreak until his final breath, Robert Redford left behind a legacy of beauty, courage, and storytelling that will endure forever.